Hello everybody, today we are going to settle one of the oldest programmer flame wars that has ever existed. Indentation, tabs or spaces. Now, a lot of programmers will actually tell you that indenting with tabs or indenting with spaces is a style thing. Different programmers have different reasons for wanting to indent with tabs or spaces, but in this video, I'm going to reveal the truth, which is that the correct way to indent is with tabs, and it is literally incorrect in every measurable metric to indent with spaces. So to show you that, I have this C file here, which obviously doesn't contain valid C code, but it is going to be good enough for us. So if I turn my invisibles on, you will see that the first line of the main function is indented with spaces, and then the second two are indented with tabs. So everything looks good if you don't have invisibles enabled. Everything looks perfectly fine. But what happens if you were to open this, and if someone were to open this in their editor and they prefer to have really big tabs, so they set their tab width to 8? Well, now everything's not aligned and it looks dumb. Same thing if people prefer to have small tabs, they set their tab stop to 2, looks dumb. So when you indent with 4 spaces, you're forcing whoever opens your file to have their tab stop set to 4, basically, in order for their code to render correctly, which is stupid because you're forcing your stylistic choices on other people. Another way that spaces are inferior to tabs is that they literally just take up more space. Like you see, if we switch the invisibles on, instead of having one character, a tab character, we have 4 space characters. Or if the person who wrote it likes to have large indents, then they might have 8 spaces. And this problem gets even worse if you commit another programming sin, which is not as egregious as indenting with spaces. I just personally don't prefer it. If you have like a function call, and you go like this, and let's just say that this function, takes like a lot of arguments and they're really long. So you say, you know what I'm going to do? Instead of having a really long line, because I don't like to have really long lines in my file, I'm going to do this and split each argument onto a different line. Now, if we just replace these with 1, 2, no, that's not spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces, like a madman, then you'll see again, if we switch around our tab stop setting to something like 2, well, that actually works because it sets a static, yeah. So it actually, that line itself doesn't look bad, but you see it doesn't match the indentation level unless you indent with the same number of spaces. So it's just kind of a mess, and it's just not necessary. There's just absolutely no reason to indent with spaces. Spaces are not indentation characters. Tabs are for indentation. So if we just press the magical GG equals G, and then we switch some of the indentation over to be reasonable, but not all of it. Oh, okay, why is it... Why is my tab... And see, this is another thing that, to continue on my Flame War rant, is that editors actually support this, which is bad. No editor should support this. When I hit tab, it expands to 4 spaces. Incorrect. That is evil. You should never do that. So I think in order to fix that, I turned off Smart Tab, because we had to get dumb for this video, so I turned Smart Tab off in my Vim. So I think if I turn that back on, we should be able to indent like a sane person. There we go. So then we indent like that, and then look what happens when you indent like a sane person. You can have your code, and whether people like to have their indentation set to 4 spaces wide, 2 spaces wide, 8 spaces wide, your code looks correct. You're only using 1 character per indentation level, so you see here we have 2 indentation levels, so we're using 2 tabs, that's it. So we're saving space. It's looking better. It allows for more flexibility in how people view and edit your files. It's just literally better in every way, and anyone who tells you that you should indent with spaces is either stupid, evil, or both. Flame war over.